Dane,
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
you released a new Uncle Dane video.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
So you're still playing TF2 even though Overwatch 2 is out.
Yeah, but the thing about Overwatch 2 is that in order to play it, you need two things.
I get it, like Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that's why they named it Overwatch 2. You need a phone, which is kind of classist if you think about it.
True.
And you also need written documentation or proof signed by a witness that you have drank breast milk.
And there.
Well, you have one of those things.
I was thinking of playing Overwatch 2, but I forgot to get my notary public to watch me suck a titty.
I mean, you don't have to do it directly from the source. You can just steal it from your coworkers.
You can just go to those breastfeeding booths at the airport and like scrape the ground.
Scrape the. Is the phone thing true, by the way?
The phone thing is true. The breast milk thing is not true. I made that
up. What?
It is based on real events.
Oh.
Wait, okay.
Based on a true story.
I'm interested.
Well, you don't know. You didn't know about the whole Blizzard thing with the employees getting like outed as fucking sexual deviants because.
No, I heard that, but I didn't know they were like drinking.
I don't know if they were drinking it, but they were stealing. Apparently, somebody complained that their breast milk kept getting stolen by some deviant in the office.
No way, is this real?
I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what else they're gonna do with it.
Well, it was me.
They put it on their Wheaties.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the phone thing is real, and a lot of people have been complaining about that. But at the same time, I do understand a little bit why they did it.
To quote Paris Hilton, "Stop being poor."
Yeah, exactly. But despite, despite all that, it is kind of like I do have a little bit of what they call schadenfreude at the whole debacle with people complaining that Overwatch 2 is just not worth playing because they didn't really do anything to change the game, and they've kind of made a lot of the skin acquisition a lot worse, apparently. So
yeah, it's all like battle pass now.
Yeah, which we live in a modern era. But I will say this: that no matter what they do to Overwatch, you can never make that game fun. So
got him.
So I don't know. Anyway, TF2 is fun. I did make a hour and 15-minute long kind of I don't know dissertation on my favorite way to play engineer. It's kind of like the last hurrah, in my opinion, when it comes to those kinds of videos.
Wait, this is your last like tutorial, or like?
I'd say so. I think I've talked about. I think I've made after this. I feel like there's not really much else to talk about. So a lot of the ideas that I have for TF2 videos going forward are probably going to be a lot different, and I'm excited about that. But before I do any of that, I also have a bunch of projects to work on and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm very excited about that. The video is doing very well. It's, how I don't know if you guys upload YouTube videos, but YouTube Studio likes to tell you like, oh, your video is doing X amount well compared to the last videos that you uploaded. It's doing very well compared to them.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
It's all working out.
I got to cut out an hour or two. That's the big one.
Time is a resource.
So true.
But it's I just checked. It's number 28 on trending for gaming.
No way, dude. That's sick.
So TF2's trending.
Finally.
Still, after all these years.
Dane, I haven't had time to watch your new video yet. Just to like totally selfishly for my own, just to like say I'm a really busy guy. Do you think you could say kind of like do your video as a live performance now, but just really fast? Maybe in like I don't know, like 5-10 seconds. Could you just say it really fast, everything, so I can kind of like speed read it?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Theme
song.
shouts out to the Motion Pixel Podcast. Yeah, I do know Lil B. I think I know the bass guy as well. Shout out Matthew Meyer and Andrew Rawlins.
Shout out to Uncle Danny. He's also a member of this podcast.
Let's get it. Shout out everybody playing baseball.
Oh, okay. So I guess this is post theme song now. This is a public call out to Little B. Little B blocked my number after we got him to do the theme song. He blocked my number. And this is just a public call out to Little B. You will always be a friend of the pod. We may have added an AI Peter Griffin voice to our theme song, but AI Peter Griffin will never replace you, Little B. So if you want to come and hash things out on the pod, I'm happy to air out our laundry, in public, because I believe sunshine is the best disinfectant.
Well, Little B stands for Little Blocked, so it's kind of, you should have seen it coming.
Damn. So true.
But now we got Little P, Little Peter.
Yeah,
Little P.
Little P. little PG. Dude, it took me so long to find, I found some website that does, it took me a while to find a website that allows me to get the it's for commercial use AI, because a lot of those AI voice generation websites are they explicitly say you can't use it on your podcast or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I found one that you can, and I had Peter Griffin say, whatever we inserted into the theme song, but it took so long to do because it is so awkward. The way that the AI speaks is so awkward. But the best one that I found was the one that we didn't end up actually going with, but one that actually the cadence of it sounded more human, was the Castilian Spanish Peter Griffin.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't. Oh. But if you can find whatever website I use, I even forget the name of it. Then someone out there.
I think I'll have trouble with that.
The Castilian Spanish Peter Griffin voice is very funny.
Oh man.
Peter.
Well, we're gonna keep going with the Halloween, right? Just all of our horror movies.
It's still October.
Yeah, it's still October. I've watched a lot. I think I'm at 20 of my assigned 31 movies, and some of them have been very good. I actually went through a few. I went through a little phase of just really shitty movies that I did not like, but most of them have been good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It feels bad when you run into a train of bad ones,
Yeah, I watched 3 in a row that I did not like. It was I watched the original Japanese Grudge called Ju-on, and I did not like it. And then I watched the original Japanese Ring called Ringu, and I did not like it. But then I watched another movie that I honestly didn't like, but there was a part of me that did like it. It was called Sadako versus Hayako, which is a Japanese movie about the scary girl from The Ring fighting the scary girl from The Grudge.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's their version of Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, it's so sick. I mean, it's literally a bad movie. It's actually not good, but it is very funny because the way that they do it. So the lore of The Ring is you watch the scary video, and then 7 days later, the scary girl crawls out of your TV and kills you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guess how they get Hayako, the scary girl from The Grudge who crawls down the stairs with her head backwards or whatever. Guess how they get her to fight the Ring girl?
The Grudge girl watches the video.
Yeah. They go into the haunted house and just put on the Ring video and then trick the ghost into watching the video. And also, the best part of the movie too is that for whatever fucking reason, the well that the Ring girl, is her body is stuck in, happens to be in the in the backyard of the house next door to the house from The Grudge. So she has a very short commute to the haunted house from The Grudge to have the showdown.
Efficiency.
Yeah. Saves on gas.
True. It's a very green movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
and with this Biden inflation, I mean,
God, he did that.
he did that.
I would.
What
I
a
would-
way to respond.
I,
He did it.
I would love to watch Sadako versus Hayako versus Kamala
Kamala,
Harris. Our
she is a little bit of a ghost, isn't she?
yeah. She's kind of like the ghost of girl bosses past.
I literally haven't seen. Are we still sure that our vice president is still alive?
Dude, do not get us taken off the web again like we did with the Clintons. We were on
yeah.
thin
Oh yeah,
ice,
that's
dude.
true. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Anyway, I love movies, especially movie franchises such
Dude, me
as
too.
The Ring.
Dude, I also watched the American Ring, and it was so good. I love that movie.
That's like a horror classic these days, which is strange because I remember it so vividly as a child, and I feel like it's hard to really know in the moment when you're witnessing a future classic. Like that hardly ever happens. And it definitely did not happen with The Ring. When I watched The Ring for the first time, I was like, huh, kind of dumb. But now people view it as like a classic. Same with Saw, which I just recently saw. I'm absolutely amazed that I somehow avoided not seeing it because it was like in high school. I mean, nobody fucking ever shut up about it.
Yeah, I was the same way with The Ring. Like, I kind of remember The Ring being like the most popular, maybe along with Saw, like you're saying, maybe the most popular horror movie of my youth. And I just remember people telling me about it. But much like what was on the abdomen of that mermaid in The Lighthouse, I was a giant pussy back then. And and I never watched it until literally like last week. But it was cool.
Oh wow, so that was your first time?
Yeah, that was my first time watching The Ring.
Dang, dude.
Nice.
Did you
Yeah.
you seen Saw, right?
Dude, I've seen Saw a bunch of times. I've seen all
Okay.
the Saw movies.
Wait a second. Wait a freaking second.
Okay.
The Ring is directed by Gore Verbinski.
Yeah, dude, of Captain Jack
What the hell?
Sparrow fame.
That's awesome. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, my favorite part. There's kind of a funny Easter egg in The Ring because I guess he was in pre-production for Pirates of the Caribbean when he made it.
Okay.
When when Naomi Watts first talks to the little girl from the well, she like sees the ghost and she's like you're the scariest ghost I've ever heard of. And then the ghost for the ring is like, yes, but you have heard of me.
That is a classic line in a movie.
Yeah, it was
It's
kind of a
like
cool.
it's kind of
movie
like
detail.
the you're gonna need a bigger boat
Yeah,
of our generation.
yeah.
Um,
I heard that and I was like, oh man, that is such a reference.
What? Okay, well, I do have The Ring on my watch list, although I have seen it already. But I saw it when it came out, so I must have been like 12 or 13. So I don't
Oh yeah.
don't
that's
remember
gonna be-
it too much about it.
I should rewatch that too. I haven't seen it since I was probably in like high school also.
It's legitimately good. It's probably this month the scariest movie that I saw, if I'm being quite honest.
Oh yeah.
And it's a PG-13 movie. It's just like it's really creepy. And Matt, you would like it. I mean, you and Dane both specifically would dig it because it is set in Seattle.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
And I think the Naomi Watts is living in like Queen Anne.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Yeah.
always call her Naomi Watt.
Naomi Watt?
Yeah, no, Naomi Watt.
Naomi what?
Here, like this. Put it on screen. Naomi Watt. Remember that? Anyway,
Yeah, I remember that.
that's probably about as old as that movie. That meme.
Wet.
What? I honestly haven't seen any scary movies this month. I don't think. None of them have like made me scared, but a lot of them have been very cool and very I don't know, exciting. I don't know what the word is. Like they're
Thrilling,
more
perhaps.
thrilling, yeah.
Yeah,
but I
don't
think that I did that on purpose because there aren't a whole lot of like movies that I would like to watch that I'm like set out to be scared by, you know?
Did you guys
Yeah,
watch
I
Army
feel-
of the Dead yet?
no.
Damn.
Nope.
I don't think I will either. I keep looking at Dane's list though, and I'm like, oh fuck, I want to watch that, and then I don't.
I'm looking at my list right now, and in terms of actually scary movies, oh dude, Matt, I watched Train to Busan. I know we talked about
Oh,
that before.
nice.
And I realized that I think we talked about that on a podcast, but as I was watching it, I was realizing that I think I fell asleep like 30 minutes into it the first time.
Really?
But I finished it this time and it was awesome.
Yeah,
but
it's great.
In terms of scary movies, I would say The Ring is probably the scariest. I watched The Curse of La Llorona. Have you guys seen that? It's in the Conjuring universe.
Sounds
No.
familiar. But no, I don't think I have.
The Conjuring is on my to watch list this month, though.
Conjuring is good. And it
I've heard it's bad, so we'll see.
I like The Conjuring. I like all those movies. And it's in like this little cinematic universe with like 10 movies at this point. But the Curse of La Llorona was definitely not a great movie, but it had a lot of jump scares, and I like jump scares and thought that like they actually scared me. So I was actually scared during that movie.
I like a good like dash of jump scare. I feel like
this is like
hit it too hard.
This is like the salt shaker. They just took the top off, and like the entire movie, every other scene is just like a scary crying lady in a wedding dress jumps out of the curtains and scares you.
Here's the thing. I mean, how do you define a jump scare exactly? Is it just like something that startles you, or is it like a actually manufactured jump scare, as in like the editing is doing all of the heavy lifting there?
I would say that it's both. I would define it as both, but in the Curse of La Llorona,
what's the one that you like?
The editing one pisses me off every time and doesn't feel earned.
That's what I figured, yeah.
But like, I like jump scares where like the scary ghost lady like jumps out of the curtains and scares me. I like those more because it reminds me of like a haunted house.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that because it almost always is accompanied by like editing to make it heightened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like a music crescendo.
Yeah.
Or like cutting all the sound like a good like 3 seconds before it happens to like tense people up so that when it does happen it like has more of a jump factor. That I'm not a fan of at all, and I think that it sucks big donkey balls. But I do But I will say that I do appreciate when a movie can startle someone without that. I'd say a good example of that is like you all seen Hereditary before?
Y'all seen Hereditary?
Y'all seen Hereditary? There's a great little jump scare in the movie that is like genuinely very unsettling. It's like at the beginning of the movie, kind of. It's like in the first 20 minutes where she's like in her attic or something looking through like photos.
Oh yeah.
And she just looks up and like she can see kind of like the faint outline of her dead mom like standing in the room just like staring at her. And there's no
goosebumps.
There's no like editing to accompany it. It's just like all of a sudden it's there and you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't like that." Is like that makes my stomach drop to the bottom of my body. And it's not the same as like I don't like haunted houses precisely because it's just like it's more like fight or flight response. You know what I mean? I want to be unsettled suddenly, not like you force me to like jump in my seat and like cover my vital organs and fucking grab a knife. You know what I mean? I hate that feeling, and I don't like it when movies force it. But I do like, you know, all of a sudden you're just like, oh god, that was fucking terrifying, you know?
Yeah, it's like the difference between a scare and terror, you know? Like
terror,
like terror, yeah.
I don't. And Dan, you've told me before too that one reason why you don't like haunted houses is because like of that like fight or flight. thing, and like you're totally just like a fighter, and you also told me that you're always like concealed carrying, and you're worried that if someone were to scare you, like jump out of the curtains and like, go, then you're afraid that you would like just like so instinctually like pick up the gun from your ankle holster and kill them on the spot.
Well, it's like I don't even think about it anymore. It's just it's two movements, I
Yeah.
I reach for my gun and you hit the ground. Like it all hits in the same moment. Like you don't even have time to even think about it. I mean, I'm just that it's muscle memory at this point.
Yeah. When you told me that, I was
slot?
like,
what's in your
damn.
slot?
I mean, wouldn't you like to know? I mean, I'm not going to put it out there because I don't want because people will study this and they'll be able to, come up with I got to keep the gang stalkers on their toes.
Yeah, true.
It's a
all
short
those Overwatch fans who were coming to get your neck for shit talking their game.
All 4 of the Overwatch fans that are left after this recent game. Yeah.
But every time I see Dane, he always like ends the conversation by telling me that he keeps that thing on him.
I do keep that thing on me. And it is legal. I do have a license for it, so I cannot actually be punished for shooting unarmed people if they mess with me. Yeah, but I'm not a fan of scary movies that aim to just like piss people off, basically. Like that's like what it translates to me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the movie just intentionally just like scares you, and then afterwards you're just pissed off. You're just like, fuck you. Like, why'd you do that? Stupid fucking movie. Fuck you. There is actually, it's an otherwise great movie, and it's like almost like it's almost a perfect movie is Get Out. But
true.
There are like 2 or 3 moments in the movie where they unnecessarily like do an editing jump scare, and I want to believe that it's like a joke, that they did it because they're just like, isn't this fucking stupid how this is in scary movies? But it doesn't feel like that, and it's like, what? Come on, Jordan
That
Peele.
someone made that get put in, like
yeah,
because
it could be a studio note.
It is a Blumhouse movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very possible that Mr. Blum or whatever the fuck that guy's name is that owns that studio is just like, you got to put the jump scare in there. Come on, you can't just make it be, scary. It has to piss people off too. Anyway, there aren't a whole lot of movies on my list where that was the case, which is nice. A lot of them are just kind of spooky. It's cool.
Oh, I forgot to say, I'm looking at my notes right now. I forgot to say in Sadako versus Hayako, there was a part where this priest is like trying to exorcise one of the demon girls. And in the subtitles that were on the movie, I don't know if this was like a fan sub problem or like, I don't know. I really don't know what the origin of this is, but the Shinto priest was literally in the subtitles using just Harry Potter spells to exorcise her. Like she used like Expelliarmus and like Expecto Patronus, and like Wingardium Leviosa or whatever.
Like quite literally, or what?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, she was like, it was like a serious scene where she was like trying to like summon a demon or exorcise a demon or something. But in the subtitles, all of the spells that she was saying in Japanese were translated to literal Harry Potter spells.
That's so great.
Man,
Is
whoever
that
got
a fan
assigned to that?
I don't think so. I maybe, but I don't think so.
That's great.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. So Dane, I want you to tell me your thoughts on what is it, 28 Days Later? Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it before?
No, I never knew nothing about that movie.
Dude.
So I went in kind of completely blind. I think the only thing that I did I wasn't even sure if I was thinking of the right movie, but I guess I was right. I was the only thing I knew about it was that it opens with a guy who wakes up in a hospital after the apocalypse has already happened. I know that wasn't a thing, and that sequence is awesome. I love that sequence. So cool. It's so cool. And I think the only thing that I might have known about it is that the zombies are fast. So anyway, I loved it. I think it's probably my favorite zombie movie. Like if that is even like a genre that people consider to be separate. It's like
Yeah, it is.
there aren't very many good zombie movies in my opinion, and that one is very well done. And I think the main reason why I don't typically like zombie movies is, well, a big part of a big part of my like teenage years. I mean, you guys remember, zombies were like the in thing for a while, and it was getting kind of annoying. And
yeah, they were
I think,
they were like bacon.
yeah, zombies and bacon and
I forgot about that
yeah.
bacon shit.
I'm
People
trying
were
to
doing bacon with everything.
yeah. Yeah, epic bacon.
That and like lanyards. God.
Lanyards.
Sorry.
What?
Lanyards are cool.
Everybody was
No,
obsessed with fucking lanyards.
I
in
remember
high
that,
school.
dude. I remember just those lanyards hanging out of people's pockets.
Yeah, it was like a
Really?
piece to be like, yeah, I'm cool. I have a lanyard. Like,
What
I have a fucking
the fuck?
string
I don't
hanging
remember
from my
that.
pocket.
I don't
you
remember
know?
that at all.
Yeah. It
Open
was
your eyes,
dumb.
Dane.
I
Look closely.
am.
All the zombies are gonna have lanyards in 20 years later.
That is interesting. I have to actually go back and make sure, because I actually have been kind of interested in what makes the 2000s a decade, because it's been long enough to where I think it's getting easier to pinpoint what the cultural landmarks are. So I think maybe I gotta keep an eye out for people having lanyards hanging out of their pockets when I look at old pictures.
Yeah,
and stuff.
dude.
Okay.
It's a little niche part.
I think the thing that I liked the most about 28 Days Later is that the zombies are threatening individually instead of just in packs, because in every zombie thing I've ever seen, a lot of the tension is ruined by the fact that the zombies aren't really that big of a deal if you just position yourself correctly. Just stand on a high spot and shoot into the crowd, basically. And in my mind, I'm always just like, man, where's the grenades? Just throw grenades. Like, they're slow. They're in groups. I don't know. It just seems like such a nothing problem in a lot of movies. And I'm never really fooled by the whole like, oh man, there's just so many of them, but they're so slow. It's like, why don't you just run away? That's always kind of been like a suspension of disbelief I just can't get behind. But in this movie, it's not even really that they're undead. It's just that they basically have like super AIDS that turns them into crazy bitches, and they run around. So they basically get turned into like pro athletes that can fucking run you down and punch you to death and kill you. And basically just like they're basically just trying to infect you with their shit as much as possible.
It's like a branch of Mad Cow in the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because in the beginning, like the monkeys, PETA ruins everything. I think that's really funny how PETA is actually responsible for the apocalypse, basically. They're like, free these monkeys, they're poor. And the doctor's like, don't let the monkey out. They're like, yeah, let him out. And then he immediately gets mauled. Made me laugh. But yeah, so there is tension the entire time. The movie halfway through turns into kind of like a found family like road trip, and I think that's kind of funny, but then it gets really dark really fast. And then like I think my least favorite part of the movie is just the third act where they're in a little like compound trying to escape the crazy people.
That's the part I remember the most, being the most like scary.
Yeah,
and had cool action sequences. I
think that might just be my least favorite part because I don't know, it felt a little bit more like a haunted house movie at that point. I think I just liked the survivalist aspect that the first two what do you call it, acts were focusing on. And then in the last act it was like, all right, well, we found a compound, and now it's not necessarily a survivalist act, it's more like what makes The Walking Dead interesting to people, I suppose, because it's like more of like humans being bastards to each other more than anything. Mm-hmm. I've never really liked that about like those kinds of things. Like I'm not really a big fan of shows where it's just like, look at when the chips are down, like humans will be sons of bitches to each other and fuck each other over. It's like, I don't really care about that kind of angle. But I will say that like the last like 10 minutes or something is really cool because you don't know if Cillian Murphy's the zombie or if he's just gone crazy. And it's really cool, and it has like a cool little throwback to when they just met. I don't know how recently you guys have seen it.
I haven't seen it in years. I want to rewatch it now though.
Yeah, same.
It's all very fresh in my mind. So yeah, there are certain aspects of the movie that I'm not a huge fan of, but overall, I really do like it a lot, and like it stood out immediately as being like, oh wow, this is a zombie movie that I can get my head around, and it makes sense, and like the characters are generally making good decisions. And it genuinely is tragic in parts, and it is very like hopeful in a lot of parts. But I think the third act, it just kind of gets a little dour, kind of like gross. And maybe some people like that, but I don't know. That kind of thing is not really, I'm not super interested in it these days. Maybe I would have loved it a little bit more when I was like a little edgy teenager, probably. But
if when sometimes when people die, they poop their pants. Do you think zombies smell like shit?
no, but those zombies didn't die. They just got a bad mad cow disease.
Oh, they got super AIDS.
Yeah, they got super AIDS.
Let me Google when you get AIDS if you poop your pants.
I don't think that's true, but maybe they did in the. Maybe that is like part of the lore. I haven't seen 28 Weeks Later, but I will probably be checking that out.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's definitely not as good. I don't think it's by Danny Boyle, the directadora of the first one, but it is pretty good. It's more like military. I think it's all about like a platoon of like special ops dudes after the events of after the first 28 days. It's the next few weeks.
I'd say that what keeps this movie from being like above and beyond for me is just simply that it doesn't go all in on the survivalist aspect of it. I think I just enjoy that concept more than like military action in a zombie apocalypse. Like people who have like AKs and or not AKs, but like ARs and like fucking have like an entire base with like floodlights and barbed wire. Like that's not exciting because obviously they're not going to die. I mean, the only reason that they got fucked up in that is because they got sabotaged by the main character.
And I could imagine
they're being sons of bitches.
I could imagine that for you too, as someone who is like constantly surrounded by guns, like in your house you have so many guns, and then on your like person you keep so many guns on you that guns in movies just aren't very thrilling.
Well, I like to like in any horror movie, and this is I'm going to definitely play into your bit here, but keep in mind that this is a little bit of seriousness coming from this. I do think that the strength of a concept of a horror movie is rooted in the fact that you have to remember that anytime you present like a situation like this, you have to like make it so that the rules of the situation are not dumb enough to where people are inserting themselves into the situation and thinking, all right, what would I do? And then immediately they think, well, I would do this, and the main character is not doing that, so this main character must be stupid. And immediately they're taken out of it. And that's like I think that's the Achilles heel of a lot of horror movies, is that they don't think that far ahead. They don't think like, oh, like we have to remember that our audience is going to be like thinking about what they would do in the situation. If we're not like up to speed on like what the average person would do in these situations, and we don't have our main character do all those things, like that is going to hurt the movie so much. So whenever I watch this movie, I think to myself, well, if I was in their situation, I would blast all the zombies in the head with my shotgun because I'm awesome and I have about 6 double barrels locked and loaded, ready to go under my bed. So if a zombie runs in my room, it's not even, I don't even have to think about it. I just blast them. But yeah, the cool thing about this is, I mean, what if you woke up from a coma and the whole city of London was empty? I mean, you'd probably walk around and be like, where is everybody? I don't understand. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I'd be like, Right then, what's all this? No, I agree with you though on the like. I mean, definitely on if I think that someone in a horror movie is being like retarded, then I no longer identify with the movie, and a lot of times that movie will get like automatically demoted a couple rungs to being like a bad horror movie, like that is just like using these stupid people as props versus like characters. But like what you're saying too, like if a horror movie, like specifically I guess a zombie movie, is a little too like macho man dudes blasting zombies with guns, it does get a little rote. Like it's a little overdone and can be kind of boring because like yeah, I mean I too would also blast through the zombies with my quadruple barrel shotgun, and it's not that like imaginative. I mean, keep in mind this is coming from the guy who said last week that or last pod that Army of the Dead was sick, which it is. But I felt very similarly to that in the last act of Train to Busan. Did you guys watch that yet?
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know much about it. But we can. I think that by the time that we do the second or maybe even the third, yeah, this is the third Halloween podcast. I will have
this is
seen
the
it by
second.
then.
This is the
No, I
second.
know, but
Oh,
next
by the
one,
time we do
next
the third.
one,
I
yeah,
see,
by
I
the
see.
time we do that one, I will have seen it by then, so we can talk about it then.
Oh, nice. It's on your list.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I won't say what I was going to say. But Train to Busan's a cool movie. I just have some probs with
But yeah, there have been a few movies that I've watched this month where I don't know, the characters do exactly what you shouldn't be doing, but they do it because the movie needs to happen, and it takes me out of it because I'm just like, oh yeah, because the movie needs to happen. Okay, like yeah, we need the scene to exist. That's why the character is doing it, not because the character would do that, but because the writer is like, well, how do I make the movie continue? So if you end up writing yourself into that hole, then you need to like figure something out, I think. Have you guys seen It Follows any chance?
Yeah, I watched that pretty
Yeah.
recently. Like, not this month, but I watched it maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. It's a scary movie.
I don't think it's very scary, but it is conceptually interesting because like it kind of has that. I like the idea of like a Terminator that only you can see is like walking towards you slowly and you can escape it, but it is kind of inherently terrifying to imagine that like when you're sleeping, like that thing is walking towards you and there's nothing you can do about it except run. Like that is scary. But literally right away, they give the character the answer to getting rid of it. And the entire movie, she does not do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, literally and figuratively.
I mean, she figures out pretty fast that it is real. And she was told immediately how to get rid of it. And she does not do it. And that is so stupid.
She should
Like-
there should be like an It Follows sequel where she goes and has sex with all of her like political enemies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I said, when you're watching these movies where they have rules, where they're like, all right, if you have a gremlin and they say don't feed it after midnight, you literally just don't feed it after midnight, right? Like it's stupid that they would have to like make the character stupid on purpose in order for the movie to happen, right? Like that
Well, yeah,
just
but
kind of
sometimes it's
disconnects
just
you.
sometimes people just don't listen. You know, I think that's part of it. Like,
No, I'm pretty sure she was listening. She was tied to a chair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I think it's fine. You know, like if it's like don't do this, and they're like, no, I'm gonna do it. That makes it more real. You know.
I mean, I don't know. It took her until like literally the last like 20 minutes of the movie for her to actually be like, all right, I guess I'll do that thing that he said I should do in order to get it to stop following me. After spending the entire movie just getting into these situations where, I mean, it makes for like a funny little like horror movie scene where they're hiding in a barn and then a little kid pops his head through the door and screams and squeals. And so everybody in the audience can like throw their popcorn all over the place. But in my mind, I'm just like, dude, like, you could have gotten rid of this thing like 3 or 4 days ago. Like, what are you doing, man? I can't. I just can't shake it. It's maybe I'm just a little autistic, and I'm like, I can't stop thinking about like, why aren't these characters doing what any like normal person would do in this situation?
They you have sex to get rid of it, right? That's
Yeah. Immediately, he was just like, and he even said like, I'm sorry, I'm doing this, like, but I need to get rid of it, and I'm just letting you know it's going to follow you. And immediately, and it's like right away, you should go and have sex with someone right like as soon as possible. And she's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to school and try and live out my life normally. And it's fine for her to like not believe him at first and think that he's just crazy. Like that, I think I was like, okay, yeah, that makes a little bit of sense. But almost immediately she realizes that it is a thing that is real. And still, this is she doesn't do anything.
well, yeah, but it's like she doesn't want to pass it to somebody. You know, that's the point, right? Like, that's
why her. I could get behind that if there was any indication that her character had some sort of like morality complex or something like that. But she's just a blank slate. And to me, a blank slate is like, it's fine in those kinds of movies if you just don't make them dumb, because then if you're like, all right, audience, here's a blank slate for you to insert yourself into this character for, then what are you saying about the audience if you make that surrogate character as dumb as possible? It's like, oh, you're saying the audience is stupid? This is what you would do, stupid audience. You would just not listen. You would never listen to any advice given to you, and you would just run around screaming the entire movie.
I mean, look at Society.
Yeah. Everyone's dumb but me. You dummies.
Yeah, they are.
This is
so
you.
dumb.
You are dumb.
Yeah, it's like holding a mirror up to Society.
I did think that it was pretty funny. I actually really liked the character of that like kind of dorky kid that kept like side-eyeing her the entire movie, but like, I think she's hot.
Yeah.
And then he gets jealous when she finally passes the monster on to like that other hot guy. He's just like, why didn't you give it to me? That is like the perfect monster. That is the perfect like representation of like desperate teenage horniness, where you're just like, yeah, I don't care. I just wanted to fucking have sex with you. I don't care if I get a monster. And I've read a lot of people saying that it's like an allegory for STDs, which I can see, I guess. And that, I think, is the strongest example of that, is that character of that boy who's just like, yeah, she has horrible, crippling, like, monster AIDS, but why won't she fuck me? Like, I think that was a cute little addition, and it says something, it says something more than, like, just a Bughuul movie would. But I don't know, the whole scene in the pool where they're like trying to like kill it.
So dumb.
I was just like, wait, what is going on? Like, why wouldn't, if you're trying to ambush the monster, right? And you can't see the monster unless you have been given this infection, right? Why wouldn't you fuck everybody in the whole room so that they all can see it first? And then you can ambush it so that everyone can see it, and then they can fucking kill it. If it even is possible to be killed, which in my mind, I thought that was pretty stupid that it physically could get killed, right?
Yeah, and if it could get killed, there's probably like more straightforward ways to kill it than breaking into a like old rec center and ambushing it with like toasters or whatever they do in a pool. Like, have you considered a gun?
But they did have a gun, and I don't know.
But they missed, right?
He missed and hit the other girl, which I thought was funny. And and he was shooting at something he couldn't see, which I thought was also funny. And then they had the genius idea of putting a towel on it so that he could see it. But then it falls in the, like, earlier in the movie, she shot the thing dead on, and then it gets right back up after getting shot. So the fact that they like put all this trust in, like, oh yeah, we'll ambush it by shooting it again, because it worked really well the last time, right? Where I shot it and nothing happened.
Yeah.
It knocked it over. I don't know. It's so confusing because maybe the whole point of the movie was to try and subvert the rules as the movie went on to keep you guessing at how to avoid, like, oh shit, I didn't know that it had this power, this power, this power. But almost right away, it seemed like the most efficient way to get rid of it is just go and find some person that you don't care dies and go and have sex with them, and then now you're fine, right? Now it's their problem. You can tell them, be like, all right, pass this on Rip. And hopefully they do, but I don't know, man. It's conceptually a great movie. I actually really like it a lot, but they fumbled a lot with it in service of making it like a Blumhouse type movie.
Yeah, it does kind of turn into it does kind of drop the ball, whatever.
Drop the bag of balls.
It drops the ball into a bag and then drops that bag into a pool in a rec center.
Yeah. I also have to give a shout out to the cinematography is great. I really like the camera being kind of like voyeuristic in a way. That's the best way I can describe it, because it seems like a lot of scenes are like they just put it on a tripod and they just kind of swivel around and watch things from a fixed point of view. It makes it feel a little bit like you're watching something happening. You can't really look away. That kind of thing is cool. Those kind of decisions always make me have a film boner.
I think that the director probably chose to do that to like put us in the shoes of the people who can't see the thing, and you are just kind of like a tennis audiencing your head back and forth, like, wait, what is she what is she doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Terminator type villains. I think they should do more with that. Like Michael Myers is conceptually a great villain, and I can't wait to watch Halloween for that reason.
Oh, that reminds me. I watched Halloween Ends.
Oh yeah,
last week in theaters. Yeah, it was actually super good.
I've heard very good things about it. Actually,
is it like a sequel?
It's the last. It's the last movie in a trilogy by a specific person who like rebooted the series. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name too, but he's the guy who rebooted it the second time after Rob Zombie rebooted it in like 2007.
Have these been coming out recently?
Yeah.
Like
one came out in like 2017 or 18, one came out in like 2020 or 2021, and then one just came out and is in theaters now. And I watched the first Halloween of this trilogy. I watched that first one when it came out in theaters, and I thought it was pretty good. In that first one, like, they bring back Jamie Lee Curtis, who is just a great actress. Like, she really kind of carries a lot of these movies. But in that first movie, she plays this, like, she's like Laurie Strode or Strobe or whatever. She's the girl who is like Michael Myers' sister, who he keeps coming back to kill because Michael Myers.
But not canonically in this new one, right?
I think I
think that this new one ignores that. Like, basically, the only thing that's canonical in this new one is the first Halloween, basically.
And in the first, do you remember? I mean, I watched all three of these ones, and I don't remember what her relationship to Michael Myers is. They say it a few times, but they just say it as she's like the woman who survived Michael Myers. They don't mention her being the sister.
She's the one who got away.
Yeah, it's a kind of dumb though that she feels so important in those movies, but there's like a couple other people who also got away from Michael Myers who were in those movies. So it's like, why is she so important? I thought she was the sister the whole time, but she has a different last name.
I mean, I know a lot about the series because I've watched a lot of Red Letter Media videos about it, and they love the series, and they have a lot of like opinions on different interpretations of it, and it sounds like the relationship between the two was revealed to be like brother and sister in the second movie, and then after that they kind of forgot about it, and then the reboot here, they're just like, oh yeah, she's not his sister, she's just like a woman. And he just he doesn't really have a motivation, and I think that's the plot of the first movie, right? Is that he's just evil and doesn't have any like motive.
Yeah, this new trilogy really leans into Michael Myers having literally zero reason for killing people. They call him like the shape of evil. Like evil takes many shapes, and right now Michael Myers is the shape of evil. He's just like pure evil, no reason, no rhyme or reason. He's just like hacking and slashing. And in the first movie, it is just like Michael Myers escapes from a mental facility and starts hacking and slashing his way through that town in Illinois or Indiana or wherever they are. Haddonfield, I think it's called Haddonfield. I think it's in Illinois. Shout out, but
California, Illinois.
Yeah. I'm Illinoised. But in the first one, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she plays this like super paranoid woman who has like devoted her entire elderly life to building like a trap house. Not trap house like future, but like trap house like her house is full of like booby traps and like
like a Home Alone style thing.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone for adults. So if you're not 18, please turn this podcast off right now.
And if you are above 18, please message me. And if you are a hot girl, please message me.
And after you're done messaging Dane, then come back to the podcast and restart the podcast right now. So yeah, her house is like a trap house full of booby traps and whatnot. And she's like always shooting guns to practice killing Michael Myers. And then he comes back and then she like, spoiler, like thinks she killed every Halloween movie ends by them thinking they killed Michael Myers and then he somehow like escapes or doesn't die. And then the second one is like all about how the fear and paranoia of Michael Myers like terrorizing this town turns people crazy and they develop like a mob mentality and end up like hurting innocent people because of that. And the second one honestly sucks. That's Halloween Kills. And then this
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah, they just literally like the last half of that movie is a mob of people chanting "Evil dies tonight" as they run around town killing people who are not evil. But the third movie, Halloween Ends, like barely even has Michael Myers in it in like a good way. I thought it was really good, and the concept for it was really cool. So every Halloween movie starts, or at least these new ones and the original. I haven't seen many of the OG sequels besides the Rob Zombie movies, but every Halloween movie in this trilogy starts with like the credits roll over this like black screen with a like film grainy jack-o'-lantern like decaying, and as it has like a flame inside, and then like it ends, the credits in the beginning end with the jack-o'-lantern like being totally consumed in flames. But this one starts with a jack-o'-lantern like on fire, or like with the fire inside like normal, and then like smaller pumpkins grow inside of the jack-o'-lantern and like bust open the outer jack-o'-lantern, and that just like keeps happening in like a
I've seen it,
like a fractal. Oh, you saw Halloween Ends?
No, I just seen that effect and I think it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So that effect,
I watched you watch Red Letter Media by any chance?
I've seen a few of their videos, but I'm not like.
So they made a review of this movie. So I feel like I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of what happens in the movie because of their review, and they gave the movie like crazy recommendation. They're like, this is like this is probably the best Halloween movie since the original. Like they really liked it a lot.
I feel the same way. I walked out of that movie. You know that feeling after you watch a movie, you just like have like a pep in your step. That if it's like a really good movie, you're like, damn, humans really do movies are cool.
When you see a good movie, like you immediately do like a cool, like you floss or you do like the Orange Justice or something.
Yeah, I was literally walking down the streets of Chicago back to my apartment. Like I felt like that scene in 500 Days of Summer where he's like, "What I got, you bap, it might be hard to handle." He's like, after he has sex with the girl, he's like dancing through the streets and like like, winking
with
and stuff
with the cartoon bird and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like that, but a little toned down because I was just so hyped. I'm like, damn, that was like a cool movie, and it was like subversive, not in like an annoying way, but it was subversive in like we're taking a super old franchise that has like 20 movies in it and just like doing something completely different while also being a Michael Myers slasher movie. Yeah. And they did that by like, I won't spoil the whole movie, but like the first like what you see in like the first 20 minutes is like there's this kid who the movie opens with there's this guy who's like a college kid and he's babysitting a kid in Haddonfield, Illinois, and the movie starts and the parents are going to like a costume party and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, we had to call you so late, but this party came out of nowhere and we're late, so bye. And then they leave the babysitter with this kid, and I'm thinking, I'm watching this movie having just watched Halloween Kills and the first Halloween movie, and just kind of knowing these slasher type movies, I'm like, okay, obviously like both of these like dumbass characters are going to die in really stupid ways from like Michael Myers, like
he's going to show up in the window with a knife, and he's gonna
exactly. Exactly. And dude, and that song is so cool. The Halloween theme. The John Carpenter.
What, the one where he goes?
Yeah, that's made by John Carpenter, the director of the original. And he also does a cool part about the new movie is the soundtrack is done by John Carpenter and his son. So it's all like very similar to the OG. But so the babysitter and this kid are like watching like The Thing, like John Carpenter's The Thing on TV because it's Halloween night, and the little kid keeps like talking about like, oh, I hope Michael Myers doesn't kill me. I'm really scared about Michael Myers. Have you heard of Michael Myers? He's this like annoying kid, and the babysitter is like, no, he's not going to kill you. Are you stupid? And the babysitter like puts the kid to bed, but like the kid doesn't want to go to bed and like starts like running around the house, and the babysitter looks for him in this room, and the kid like closes the door and the babysitter like locks him in there. And as soon as that happens, the babysitter hears like a door open downstairs or something, so you're thinking like, damn, Michael Myers is about to like kill this guy. So the babysitter starts to like freak out because he's all paranoid about Michael Myers now, and he starts like slamming the door like with his foot, like kicking the door down, and he kicks the door open. The kid was in front of the door, and they were on like the third or fourth floor of this like huge house, and the kid like falls down the balcony and like tumbles down and just like fucking gets his head cracked open and dies. And right as that happens, the parents like come home early from the party, and then it's like title card. And I was like, damn, that's like I was not expecting that. I was expecting, it to be like a very stereotypical Halloween movie where Michael Myers kills these people and that's the beginning. But Michael Myers isn't even in the intro. So this whole movie, I won't like say much story details past that, but like this whole movie is about how the paranoia of Michael Myers, not just like turning people into like a mob, like in that dumb second movie, but it's like turning people into like killers in this movie. And like that kid who killed the kid is like people in the town start like making fun of him and like treating him like shit, and he gets totally ostracized. And the movie mostly follows this guy as he's like a loner in this town, and he kind of gets seduced to the dark side, and then the rest of the movie happens and you get a cool Halloween movie. And also the ending is so good. Like I was expecting it to end like a typical Halloween movie, but the ending is like so not what I expected. And actually like they call it Halloween Ends, and the director was very, in like interviews, the director was very assertive that like this is literally the last Michael Myers movie. This is the last Halloween movie in this trilogy and like the end of this franchise. And I mean the end of this movie, I mean it's literally, I think, the end of the Halloween franchise. It ends pretty concretely.
I
know.
I mean,
You're
reboot
tempted
it again.
I mean, they could totally
Make a
reboot
prequel.
it, but I think they would have to like, I don't know. They would have to reboot it in a new continuity, because this one, I mean, it ends pretty concretely.
Yeah,
money finds a way.
Yeah, true. But you guys,
it's a horror movie. They're gonna bring a supernatural element into it. You know what I mean? The ghost of Michael Myers.
I'm getting like a vibe from you guys that you think like, oh, this, like August is saying, this movie is all subversive and like kind of cool, but it still sounds like a stupid Halloween movie. I'm telling you guys, this is like an actual good movie.
No,
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I watched like a fucking 45-minute video of someone reviewing this entire movie. I literally, what you just described is, I already know what happens. I've already been spoiled for the entire thing, basically. and it sounds very cool. It's just that I never watched any of the other ones, so I had no investment in it.
Yeah,
but I'm
same.
glad that he got this iconic character got a good send off for a lot of fans of the series. That's a win in my book, because it seems like a lot of these things are treated kind of poorly by studios just trying to cash in on an IP that is like guaranteed to get butts and seats, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to the people making this movie. They actually managed to, make it make sense within the theming of the film that started it. So it's cool. I like that. But
Yeah.
it does make sense that Halloween ends finally, because I mean Michael Myers is what, 80 years old?
Yeah, it literally in the movie he is like an old ass dude. He's like, you never really see his face, but he like takes his mask off a few times and you like see like the back of his head and the side of his head, and he is literally like a 70 or 80-year-old dude.
You look at the hands, his hands in the poster, it's just like it's some grandpa's hands. Pretty funny.
He's got like those King Charles bloated hands. Have you seen those?
Yeah. He does.
Yeah, Matt, edit in a picture of King Charles's hands.
All right. Now put a porg on screen.
Yeah.
Put a porg?
Yeah. Yeah, and now put a porg on screen, but it's King Charles with a porg instead of his
shit.
head.
What's wrong with his hands?
I know, dude, they're so weird.
Damn.
Yeah, he's got
I'm gonna
sausage
put Wat
fingers.
back up on the screen because Wat, dude. Poor guy.
Yeah,
That looks painful.
All of his fingers kind of look like the Wat lady's head.
Yeah.
He's wearing hand gloves.
It's like a skin suit that he just like slips into.
Yeah. Damn. But yeah, I mean, I've never even seen the original Halloween. I will this Halloween though. On Halloween night, I will watch Halloween.
Oh, that's cool.
The original or
yeah,
the new of
the original,
Okay.
the one from 1979. So I plan on watching that one, and I think that's probably going to be the only Halloween movie I watch. But I will experience it, and I think that I'm going to like it because, like I said, I like the concept of unstoppable terrors in movies. It is cool. I like those because they don't give you any real answer besides survive.
Mhm.
You know, and that's inherently scary to a lot of people, including myself.
Yeah. Oh my God. In Halloween Kills, at the end, do you guys mind if I spoil Halloween Kills?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so dumb. It's like at the end of the movie, they like the whole town gets together after they're done like killing innocent people in the name of being scared. They all get together and like booby trap Michael Myers into like chasing this girl into like a cul-de-sac, and then the whole town comes out and like holding like baseball bats and like guns and shit, and Michael Myers is just standing there like, uh-oh. And there's like a scene where the whole town gets together and like smashes this guy's face, hits him in the back with bats and shit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if Michael Myers gets out of this, like these townspeople are literally the dumbest people in the world. And guess what?
What?
He got out of it.
He gets out of it.
Nice.
Guy with no weapons somehow defeats like 30 people who are beating the shit out of him.
It's kind of crazy how like slammed this movie's getting on Letterboxd though.
Yeah, I saw reviews for it on some websites that I follow.
People fucking hate it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably because it's not really like a Michael Myers slasher movie. Like maybe they were expecting like a best of just like Michael Myers getting some cool.
They just want like a
cool
compilation.
kills.
They want a kill compilation.
Yeah, they should act like me when I was
Just
13
watch a
and
kill
go on
count
YouTube
video.
and watch kill compilations.
Just watch isn't there literally channels dedicated to just like summarizing the kills in all movies so that people don't have to actually watch through all of the dumb talking bullshit?
Number
There's like,
15, the kill where Michael Myers stabbed the guy in the foot.
He stabbed him in the chest, and I cannot believe it. It looked like it hurt. Yeah, I mean, maybe it did disappoint people who maybe they liked the last 2 Halloween movies and they were just like, oh yeah, I like just scene after scene of like a character talking for like 5 minutes and then Michael Myers shows up and stabs them in the head, and then next scene where the same thing happens again. Killing spree. That's cool.
Yeah, I think people I think people's brains have just been rotted so much by whatever insert societal ill here. And I think a lot of people just don't even want good movies anymore. They just want like what they're expecting.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's always been the case, but it's been indulged upon by Hollywood. So people get more of it now. So yeah, they're even more used to it. It's unfortunate, I suppose, but I mean, like if that's how people treat movies, then I suppose that would be expected. If they're just like, oh yeah, that's that thing that I can rely on. You know, I can rely on Michael Myers to show up and kill people for an hour, and I can, munch on my popcorn and go, oh, that guy got fucked. That guy got fucked.
Like, what's the point of it? It's just the same.
Look, I think it's fine. I think you can enjoy things. Look, I'm not saying that you can't enjoy things, but I think that if you show up to a movie where you're just wanting to see a guy that you've seen kill people over and over and over, kill more people over and over and over, you might be a little knuckleheaded dipshit. you might be a pinhead. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and he's not talking about Hellraiser.
Is that what you really like go to movies to do? It's kind of funny to me. Yeah, I'm just imagining the character I'm imagining, the caricature that I'm picturing in my head is just a guy with what's that guy that meme from like 2012 with the douchebag.
Oh yeah. The Scumbag Steve.
Scumbag Steve. He's sitting in a movie theater eating like raisinets, and he's just like he's stuffing his face with raisinets, and with a full mouth of raisinets, he spits them out onto the person in front of him. When Michael Myers stabs a guy in the throat with a light, he goes, "Ha ha ha! Damn! Oh damn!" Like that's a fucking knucklehead. So, I don't know. If you're that knucklehead, then power to you, I guess. But you're still a knucklehead.
Yeah, I would say Halloween Ends is for kind of like intellectuals. So I think a lot of our listeners are like pretty highbrow characters. I know we have a lot of kind of like men and women in STEM in the audience. So I would advise them to check this out to prove the knuckleheads wrong.
I mean, I would hazard a guess that Halloween Ends is not even a highbrow intellectual movie. It's just a horror movie, man. But just because like the same thing you've seen doesn't happen again, people are like, 1 star, fuck you.
I saw friend of the show, Peter, he sent me this meme.
Griffin?
Friend of the show, AI Peter Griffin. friend of the show, AI Castilian Spanish Peter Griffin, sent me a meme. Not really a meme. It was just like an excerpt of an interview with John Carpenter, the director of the original Halloween. And someone interviewing was like, "What are your thoughts on elevated horror?" And he was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And the interviewer was like, "A lot of people talk about elevated horror today, like A24 films like Hereditary and Midsummer that are heavy on the metaphor. Like, would you consider those elevated horror?" And John Carpenter's again just like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Dude, John Carpenter he's great. He doesn't give a shit about any of this anymore. He's just like, yeah, man. I remember when I made those movies. That was funny.
He's like, "Damn, have you seen The Thing? Damn.
Wait, that dog fucking crazy. Shoot it. Shoot that fucking thing. Oh, damn, he got the flamethrower though. Oh, damn.
Yo, if I had a flame, dude, imagine if he had a Boring Company flamethrower in The Thing.
This character has kept me out of movie theaters for years, and I'm never going back. because that guy
Yo.
exists and he is in the back row, so you can hear it.
Yo, I
You-
got one
wait,
of those
have you-
Elon Musk flamethrowers. The thing would not stand a chance.
Have you actually had that experience, like somebody being like that in a movie theater?
Yeah. No,
Really?
I used to. I mean, I must have gone to midnight premieres with both of you when I was in high school or just out of high school. That was like a big thing that I used to do all the time. Man,
Yeah, I love.
I remember
the
the midnight premiere of Sucker Punch. There was like literally like multiple people behind us, like doing that basically every time somebody in the movie, like some goblin or whatever, get killed by an AR because the movie's fucking ridiculous. And I guess that movie is kind of a little warranted to have that reaction, but still, like, those people exist. I think when you're younger, you probably tolerate it more because you are a knucklehead.
Maybe I'm the one doing it. That's why I don't realize it.
Yeah, you are a damn guy. When I saw Drive in theater, I think I've talked about this on the show before, but when I saw Drive in the movie theater in like fucking 2011 or whenever that came out, I remember I was like only one of like 5 people in the theater, and after the credits started rolling, there was a couple sitting like in front of me, and the guy stands up and he's just like, "Well, that sucked."
I can't believe people like that are real.
I know, it's so awesome.
Like, I don't know. I read a lot of reviews on Letterboxd, and there is like a consistent like fanboying over the theater experience from people, and they're always just like, "Oh, see this movie in a big crowded theater. It makes it so much more fun because everyone's fucking hooting and hollering and having a grand old time." And I'm like, I want to see a movie. I'm not going to a concert. I want to watch a movie. I want to be able to hear what people are saying. And I've seen like cams of like back when the new Spider-Man movie came out with
oh yeah,
what was it? What's that
Tobey
called?
Maguire.
No Way Home. I got recommended a bunch of videos of people reacting to like crazy moments in it, and it's like you can't even fucking hear what anyone's in the movie saying. It's just people like, it's literally like going to a concert and like AC/DC rolls up on stage. You know what I mean?
I mean, not the whole time though, right? Like
basically the whole time. Like
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like
I mean,
when I saw No Way Home, like there's definitely people being like, "Oh, holy shit!" Like, "Oh God, look, it's fucking Tobey Maguire. Oh my God," you know, like yeah, shit like that. But like, it wasn't like the whole time. It wasn't like a fucking concert. But I think it made it better, honestly, because it was like everyone there was like, "Oh shit," you know, like
it's just not my.
This is what I wanted.
It's not my scene. I don't think.
No, I get that.
I think I'm just over it. I think I'm over seeing movies in like a big crowd of people. You know what I mean?
I think it depends on the movie for me. Because like if it's like a real movie, like a good movie, like a movie I actually care about, you know, not like fucking like, because Spider-Man, like Marvel's like popcorn, right? Like it doesn't really fucking matter. Like it's just like some people they paid to put special effects with a loosely plotted line that Kevin Feige signed off on, you know, like that's all they are.
They're so much more than that. They're my life. What do you mean? I'm a
like
big Marvel head.
So those are just like fun. Like, you know, if you go there and everyone's just like a fucking knucklehead with you, you know, like hell yeah. But if people were doing that shit in like, I don't know, actually, if I had saw Midsummer in the movie theater, that part where the old people fall off the cliff, I think that would have added to it if somebody was like, oh, you know, like a gasp in the audience. I think it'd be pretty good. But I don't know. For like, if I want to like really enjoy like as art, you know, I guess I'd probably want to watch it on my own.
No, I get what you're saying, that there are certain movies that like benefit from it more. It's just that even in the movies that do benefit from it, it's just so it's like taking me out of it a lot. It's kind of like the same sort of reason why I'm not a huge fan of like theater productions, because I cannot I cannot get over the fact that there are like people in front of me doing this. I can't like pay attention to the story or like appreciate the acting. I'm just like, I'm in a room and there's people physically in front of me clomping around on the stage. And if I wanted to, I could throw a weapon or something and disrupt this if I felt like it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you already have the weapon
and
on
I
you.
will, and I have. No, I mean, like, it's just it just takes me out of it. It's like very distracting. I'm very I don't know, in public spaces I'm very easily distracted, I think. And I think I'm just I've acclimated to the experience of watching a movie in the comfort of my own home, and I already was having issues like getting into a movie in a movie theater before, and now I think that I'm just like so used to it that I can't do it again.
You should do what I do and only pretty much go to movies in the middle of the day during the week.
Yeah, no, actually I've seen many movies in an empty theater.
Yeah, that's the best. It's like a private
that is
screening.
cool. Yeah, that is cool because it's just it's mostly the better sound system. I feel like the movie actually kind of loses a little bit of quality from the projection usually, unless it's an IMAX. Actually, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, movie going experiences was seeing Interstellar in IMAX. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, I saw it in IMAX too, and we were in like it was me and a bunch of friends, and we were in this IMAX theater that had almost like it was like 2-seater. It was like they had like love seats, like reclining love seats, so you could like you could like curl up and like like I think most of the people I was with actually fell
I
asleep.
think most movie
screening.
theaters are like that.
Oh,
nowadays, I mean,
yeah,
it didn't used to be like that. I think
when
that.
I
What were you saying?
I was just saying they were the seats were so comfortable when we saw it that like I almost fell asleep, and everyone I was with definitely fell asleep for like 10-15 minutes during that movie at least.
Oh, good. It must have been very engaging.
Yeah, I'm an Interstellar hater because I hate the ending of Interstellar so much.
Have we talked about this before? I feel like it might have come up at some point.
Yeah, I think we have
I haven't
talked about
seen it yet.
Oh, well,
you haven't seen Interstellar?
Nope.
It's well, it's kind of a highbrow intellectual movie similar to Halloween Ends. So, you know, I expect
it's good. I want to watch it. I've seen a lot of the memes. You know,
you're a man in STEM, so I feel like you'll get it. You know,
man in STEM.
Check out my my favorite films little section there.
Yeah, I guess I won't spoil it because Matt hasn't seen any movies. But the ending of Interstellar, like for me, totally like jumped the shark into like away from sci-fi into just like mushy gushy dumb shitness, and I really hate the ending of Interstellar. I mean, it's an amazing movie, but story wise, it really lost me at the end.
Ah, okay. I mean, I couldn't disagree more, but you do you, I suppose. We're coming up on the we're coming up on the hour and a half mark, so I don't really want to like go off on a tangent.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
we can wait until Matt's seen it, and then we can talk about it if you like.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's about to be a bloodbath in here.
It's literally one of my favorite movies, and I absolutely adore the ending. So
I like
it's actually
your
what
other
makes
favorites.
the movie. It makes the movie stand out. Can I ask you? What did you think about the film, The Martian?
I never saw it.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
I never
great.
saw The Martian.
Dude, shit potatoes.
Yeah, I think if you didn't like Interstellar, in particular the ending, you might like The Martian.
Oh really?
And I feel like if you really like the ending of Interstellar, then you probably were like me and had to shut off The Martian due to how pissed off you were getting.
Wait, really? You didn't like The Martian?
I mean, I didn't like the first half hour of The Martian, and then I stopped because it was actually making my blood boil.
Okay, I gotta watch Interstellar so I can hear more about what made you hate Martian.
I'll tell you. I think what I didn't like about it is okay. So you guys know about that Facebook page called "I Fucking Love Science."
Yeah, and I do.
That movie is like the result of those kinds of like people who like indulge in like popcorn science, basically, where they're just like, ooh, he's I think literally the point in the movie where I was like, I immediately was just like, I can't do this anymore, was I think he literally says, I'm gonna science the shit out of this. Like, and he was and I was like, this is the most fucking Redditor shit I've ever seen. I'm going to blow my head off.
I literally
couldn't watch it anymore.
Bro, I literally wish that Anne Hathaway had scienced the shit out of the end of
Right.
Interstellar,
And I
because
think
that shit pissed me off so bad when she did.
No, I think that you definitely lose a lot of people who are just like, I'm only here to see real Bill Nye the Science Guy science. I don't want any sort of creative vision. Fuck you. I'm here to see Kip Thorne's vision of I want to see a real black hole. I want to see how it really is rendered.
I think my problem with Interstellar is that like it flip-flopped between hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi. And with science fiction, I think you have to commit to one or the other, or else for me it falls apart, because so much of that movie felt so realistic with like the time dilation shit with the black hole. And then the end of it is just like, what if our emotions were actually better than science?
Yeah. I mean, that is a theory and it isn't proven at the end, but I won't spoil too much of it for the people here who haven't seen it. I think that you do have something there though. And I actually was talking about this a little bit with my friend, because my friend Gene, he typically doesn't really like spectacle in movies. And I understand why. It's like, it's kind of like a little schmaltzy a lot of the time. And a lot of the time, movies who lean too heavily on spectacle are like pretty like empty, and they just feel like nothing. On the other end of the spectrum, movies that are about like human relationships and like are devoid of spectacle, and they're just like grounded and like quiet and subtle, and like it really makes you think. Like, those movies are very good as well, but like they're also kind of boring to people who want to watch movies to be entertained. I think that the like dichotomy between those two movies, I think that most people probably fall into like the category of like, I only really like one or the other. But I feel like it's the most impressive to me when a movie can do both at the same time and pull it off. And I think that's what I like about Interstellar, is that it's both a very human story, and it's also like amazing spectacle. Like, it has the most amount of spectacle in a movie that I think I've ever seen. But at the same time, it has that human story element. It's like basically the story about like a father and his daughter, and like the lengths that he'll go to like make sure that she has a good life. That combination is like, I feel like that's like impossible to pull off, and I feel like Christopher Nolan somehow pulled it off. And movies that do that are like insane to me.
I thought a lot of the human stuff in Interstellar was really good. Like, I thought that Matthew McConaughey's relationship with his daughter, all those times he was watching the video, were so like brutal to watch, you know? Like, it's like they're so sad, some of the stuff that happens in that movie. But I think the like mechanics of the movie are what pissed me off. That like, to me it felt like the mechanics of space travel and like, you know, whatever time dilation shit or whatever the movie was about, a lot of that stuff felt like it was just thrown aside for like the human aspect of it, but in a way that trumped the like hard sci-fi, the rules that I thought the movie was following. Like to me, it felt kind of like a part. It felt like it was from a totally different movie. Like the ending could have totally been a different movie to me.
Maybe. I mean, I think that the ending played perfectly into the sci-fi aspect.
And I'm not talking. I guess that maybe I should be a little more specific. Without, I'm trying not to spoil it. My problem really was with Anne Hathaway's ending. I liked the ending with Matthew McConaughey doing the like crazy shit he does at the end, where he's like floating and stuff. I won't say too much more, but I like that, and I like the ending. You know, where he's like, there's like that space station that they're on. I thought that was cool, and a lot of that part of the movie I liked, especially because there were so many references to 2001: A Space Odyssey, because this movie Interstellar was so clearly like a response or like a spiritual successor to 2001.
I mean, visually, yeah. I'd say that, like, content-wise, it's basically a rehashing of another one of my favorite movies, which is Contact. I don't know if you've seen that from 1990.
No, I've actually never seen Contact.
You should check it out. It has a more science versus religion theme, which I think is very tastefully and like epically done. It has that same kind of balance between spectacle and a human story that I really like, and you can really tell, especially from the ending of both movies, that Interstellar borrows a lot from Contact. But yeah, visually, especially in the more like abstract parts of Interstellar, yeah, that's totally like there are some shots that are like almost copied directly from from 2001. It's
really cool ways. Like when he's floating in that area at the end, it was very similar to when Dave is floating through like the memory banks in the ship in 2001.
Yes. I think I've seen a few like side by side shots where I'm just like, oh hell yeah, sweet. I actually recently watched 2001 again. Pretty recently.
What a movie. I think that's literally like the only actually good movie, and every other movie is just like a little less good than 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I say that 2001 is 100% spectacle.
Yeah, yes, it is.
It's like entirely like you watch it to see what is happening on screen, but none of the characters matter. All of them are just like nobody.
Yeah, they're all kind of like chess pieces in this like cosmic game of chess that Kubrick is playing. Like it's all just like the movie is way more metaphor than story. Like there's really no story in that movie.
Right. I think there are only like 5 scenes where people talk to each other.
Really? That's so funny.
I mean, I would guess. Like it seems like most of the movie you're just watching cool shit happen, which I mean, if you're down for that experience, you're down for it, but it's definitely one of those movies that I have to be in the mood to watch. It's not something where if it's on TV and I'm not in the mood for it, I'm going to be like, fuck that. I'm not watching 2001: Space Odyssey. Like that movie's just too too cerebral. I don't know.
It's the most dense shit ever.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of our audience is kind of like men and women in STEM, so for them, I'm sure they eat that shit up. You know, they're very highbrow individuals, so for them it's kind of like not a problem to watch movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
No. They smoke weed, they they think about all the crazy dark shit in the world. They're basically doomers, they vape.
Yeah, they vape, and then every time they vape, they're like, let me science the shit out of this nicotine salt.
Maybe one day I will like grit my teeth and actually finish that movie, but man, The Martian, it's like the polar, it is literally I think that it came out the same year that Interstellar came out, and I think that honestly that movie might have a lot to do with a lot of people's like kind of people generally fall into one of two camps. They either absolutely love Interstellar like me, or they have the same kind of viewpoint where they're just like, yeah, I liked Interstellar until that stupid stuff at the end where they like made stuff up. I thought it was going to be a science movie, not a science fiction movie.
It's a fucking rom-com.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of that has to do with The Martian, because The Martian tries to put itself as this like, yeah, Matt Damon, he's a survivalist, he's on Mars, he's going to do a bunch of cool shit and he's going to vlog about it, he's going to make a YouTube channel and he's going to post all his funny science vlogs to YouTube.
It's like Casey Neistat in space right now.
Yeah, he should have had Neistat's like sunglasses. He should have been on like a hoverboard, like skating around,
trying to pitch his social network. Remember when Casey Neistat was like trying to pitch that social network at the beginning of the vlogs?
Yeah.
Wait, he was trying to make a social network?
Yeah, the Casey Neistat daily vlogs started as his way to promote Beam, which was his like social network app that he like created, where it was like, I think it's very similar to that Be Real app that's been kind of popular. I'm not on it, but I've heard about it, where the point of Beam was like, you can only post videos where like your camera, like your phone is like against your chest, and you're supposed to post like only like POV videos. So it's like Beam is spelled BEME, like be me. Like, this is literally me when I'm walking down the street. Like that was his app.
Dumb.
And then his vlog series started out as like his way to promote that app. And then I forget what happened, but I think he like rolled that app into some other startup that he created and then sold that startup to CNN for $25 million. And then like his CNN like immediately closed it. So he just kind of like got out scot-free with $25 million.
Huh.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Learn to code. Okay, so why don't we end the podcast by saying theme song.
I'm finished.
There are a lot of people who like to point out that the Lord of the Rings movies are sausage fests, and that's true.